Here are the 7 deadly wastes, the so-called the 7 deadly wastes in Japanese words, Muda, the 7 Mudas. So we will see it one by one. It was founded by Toyota company. The first one is Muda of overproduction. The second, Muda of inventory, Muda of waiting, Muda in transporting, Muda of defect making, Muda of motion, and Muda in processing. The 8th point, the newly emerging point, one wastage also, it is unused worker, wisdom, intelligent, creativity of workers. If you not use, it is also a deadly waste. So it will be 8. The 7 deadly wastes will be the 8 deadly wastes. So here are symbolically observed the 7 deadly wastes. Let us see it one by one. In general, the 7 wastes of lean management will be waste of transportation, waste of waiting, waste of overprocessing, waste of motion, waste of defects, waste of overproduction, as we told now. The first one, Muda of overproduction, that means waste of production to produce things more than necessary. This is defined as to produce things more than necessary. In terms of type, it may be in type, in time, and volume. In an unwanted time, that means in unwanted time, unordered, no order, without order. It's called the worst kind of all Muda. That means the worst kind of all wastes, since it hides all the other wastes, because overproduction will take many space and makes things unobservable, house type that is not needed by customer. So any other construction materials produced on a routine schedule regardless of current demand. So it connected with time and item type. It may be also without quality, with poor quality, and so on. So the causes are excessive workforce and facilities, big and fast production machine, lack of customer focus. And the effect it will bring: increase in inventory, outbreak of defects, deterioration of turnovers, ratio of funds, advanced preparation of materials and parts, consumes resource, needless wear on machines. So it is not important to overproduce any production. And Muda of inventory. This situation where items such as raw materials, parts, and finished goods are stagnant, or which are not having value added to them. Some are located in the warehouse and others are in the process inventory. So this is a kind of work variation. Some are finished and keep waiting for others, and some others are in process. So there will be Muda of inventory, that means wastage of inventory. This is an example image of waste of inventory. We see we record it in one organization, and some parts of invisible to check what is there, what is not there. It is impossible to see from this image as you looking in. The second part is the Muda of inventory. The cause is weak consciousness for inventory, because some people, some workers, some organizations may create inventory because they do not know the harm of it. And bottleneck processing stage, advanced production, approximate production, unreliable suppliers, and the effect it will bring: waste of space, needs for inspection and transportation, expansion of working fund, shelf time may expire, tie up, cash makes FIFO inventory and management more difficult. This is first in, first out philosophy, management strategy. So the types of inventory may vary: manufacturing inventory and merchandise trading inventory in two categories. So there may be reasons for inventory, but there should be reliable and reasonable enough satisfactory reason to create inventory. Unless and otherwise, no inventory needed in the work production, in the work process. So here are some examples of inventories. So here are the images. The third one is Muda of waiting. This includes all kinds of waste of time, such as workers or parts waiting for an upstream process to deliver, for a machine to finish processing, for incoming parts or materials, for process that has a long wait time. Waiting each other is waste of waiting, the so-called waste of waiting for machine, waiting for material, waiting for semi-processed parts. So that it's all about waiting. The cause is bottleneck processing stage, bad difficult layouts, capacity imbalance, shortage and unreliable supply chain, lack of multi-skilling, poor maintenance. And the effect it bring waste of manpower, time and machines, increase in the in-process inventory, failed delivery dates, poor workflow continuity. The fourth one is Muda in transporting. It's unnecessary movement of parts between processes caused by unnecessary transportation distance, temporary storage, relocations, or repealing up. So it is a transportation caused for unnecessary distance. That's all about waste of transporting. So waste of transporting, the cause is bad facility layout, and the effect it will bring waste of space, production deterioration, expansion or transportation facilities, occurrence of scratches, increased production time, waste time and energy, as well as resource, transportation materials also. And the fifth one is Muda of defect making. This includes defects in inspections for defects in process and claims, or scheduling and resource loss. So this is all about defect making, error making on products and rework. It will create a rework. So the defective, inaccurate design, quantity, specification, payment, certificate, purchase, production of defective construction materials, cement, rubber, and so on are an example. The cause for Muda of defect making is emphasizing on downstream process by inspection, poor in methods and standards for inspection, lack of standard operation. The effect it will bring is increase in material costs, productivity deterioration, increase in personnel and process for inspection, increase in defects and claims, and wide reworking costs also. It will minimize customers, the amount of customers. The sixth part is Muda of motion. These are non-value adding movements or more than necessary movements of workers, equipment and machines, such as looking for goods, bending, stretching, walking, lifting and reaching, etc. So this is the law of Muda of transportation is not Muda of motion. Muda of motion is within a surrounding, but Muda of transportation is far distance. It may be more than 10 meters. We can define that mode of transportation is more than 10 meters, but less than 10 meters can be mode of motion, stretching, bending, and so on, as it is written here. So mode of motion is like this. It is not somewhat simple, but it is very difficult to work it. It makes also health problem. Stretching, bending up and down, and so on. Here you are looking at many times he is going up and down. So this is not good. It can be done in such a way very easily. So mode of motion is one part of the deadly wastes, the 8 deadly wastes. So mode of motion, the causes are no education for training, no standard operating procedure, isolated operation, bad facility layout can be the cause for mode of motion. The effect it will bring: increase in manpower in processing, unstable operation, increase production time, can cause injury, health problem, damage on workers. And the last one is Muda in processing. This consists of processing and operations primarily unnecessary. It is processing beyond the standard required by the customer. So this is unwanted thing, additional processing. So it is caused by lack of analysis of the contents of operation, improper tools and their use, insufficient standardization, attitude always do it like this, do it according to the specification, not as you like, so that if you pass from the specification it will be Muda in. Here this is the second part of waste, that is waste identification, waste elimination, waste minimizing and waste elimination. So the steps to effective waste elimination are: the first one, we will see make wastes visible. The first one is making them visible for everyone, for every worker. The second is be conscious of the wastes. The third, be accountable for the waste. And the fourth one, measure the waste. And the fifth one is eliminate or reduce the waste. Let us see it one by one. Make the waste visible means draw and analyze the current facility layout. Layout is one part of Muda, cause of Muda, cause of waste, so that analyze the facility of layout. Prepare a process flow chart to see the number and employment of workers, order of processing, type of processing, and so on. Prepare standard operation sheet, because a standardized operation will minimize Muda will minimize wastes, because it will show us a net operation. Because when we start about wastage, we have divided work operation into 3: net operation, supporting operation, non-value adding operation, that means, and waste by itself. So when we see part by part the flow chart and the workers, the methodologies, we will see what is unnecessary and what is necessary, so that makes the waste visible, is calculate the work, how it is done, and create a standard operation, a best standard operation. So the second one is be conscious of the waste, means when something is needed as waste, it also cannot be stopped, denied as waste. So it says when something is denied as waste, as it is not, when people think that it is not a waste, it will not be stopped. It cannot be stopped, because they use it as it is important, reliable. So be conscious whether it is waste or not. And the third one is be accountable for the waste. Most of the workers in organizations think that the organization is working for the owner or for the government, but any organization is working primarily for their workers. So the workers will take care of the company, and the company will take care of the workers. So it is very important for the workers to be accountable for the waste. To be accountable, they should count it is their own company. Participatory approach is important here. The fourth one is measure the waste. When the waste is not measured, people may think it is small or insignificant, and therefore will not be motivated to stop it. What is not measured is not improved. appreciate its size and magnitude. So most of the people, for example, Muda of motion is simple to movement, to create a movement. What is the problem? It is simple, may say some people, but it is very difficult when you calculate it per day, per weeks, per month, per year. It will be very big, significant. But when people sees it from ordinary point of view, it will be simple, and it does not mean harmful. So it is important to measure everything. So what is not measured is not improved. So measure it. Even a centimeter may create a workload or a work wastage in each and every operation. So that measurement is the main point when we eliminate Muda or waste. The fifth one is eliminate or reduce the waste. When the great Italian sculptor Michelangelo was scared that he was sculpting, he responded he was not sculpting but releasing the figure inside by removing the unnecessary rocks, wastes. Like Michelangelo, we should eliminate all forms of wastes in any process or product until only that is valuable remains. The valuable. The fifth step is eliminate or reduce the waste. When the great Italian sculptor Michelangelo was asked what he was sculpting, he responded he was not sculpting but releasing the figure inside by removing the unnecessary rocks or wastes. So he gets the sculpture by removing the unwanted part. Like Michelangelo, we should eliminate all forms of waste in any process or product until only what is valuable remains. Only what value-added operations remain. So to eliminate all the 7 wastes, the 8 means also the 8 deadly wastes, as they have their own causes, the elimination techniques also will vary from one another. So let us see each one by one. The first, Muda of overproduction. How to eliminate Muda of overproduction? Produce not more than is needed by your customers. Respect to your customers' needs. You must know what your customers need and have standardized work or work instructions for your process, so that you will have no overproduction. And the second one, how to eliminate Muda of inventory, is implement 5S and avoid unnecessary items. Use just-in-time systems. Muda of waiting, the third part. Proper alignment of work process, consistent machine maintenance to avoid machine downtime. And the fourth one, how to eliminate Muda in transporting. Design production lines and materials flow paths in a way that minimizes the distance between workstations and temporary storage, because we said that the cause for Muda of transportation is bad layout. So eliminate bad layout by graphing the old company layout, old working layout to a new, better, improved layout. You will see here an old company layout, an example. Here are the layouts, how the workers move. Also, you will draw how the workers and the customers move here within the layouts. Here is it. So as you seen, they are repeated here and there among one another. So you will cut out it and you will draw the new one in such a way the flow should be U-shaped. You can draw it as a new company layout, so that a process will be one directional. The inputs will come in front and go through to the outputs without repeatedly moving here and there like that of this. So this is the betterment, and you can also improve from here. Also additional improvements you can do. So the fifth one is Muda of defect making. How to eliminate Muda of defect making is build quality into each process using tools like Pokayoke, Jidoka, and then etc. There are many Kaizen tools, so implementing that will avoid defect making, because in Kaizen quality is checked in every quality control circle in the process, not on the output. It's not quality checking, but quality achieving process on the process. So the sixth part is how to eliminate Muda of motion, minimize unnecessary movements. Keep equipments and machines accordingly, then you will not move unnecessary movement. So the seven is Muda in processing, improving processing efficiency to achieve the same customer satisfaction, use of low-cost automation, smaller and more flexible equipment. So you will not do Muda in processing. The 8th point, the newly emerging one, Muda of unused manpower. You can avoid it by participatory approach, making participatory approach and using paperless minds by suggestion systems, a tool like suggestion systems in Kaizen, so that your workers' creativity and innovation as well as intelligence will come to your productivity. It will be an effort. So these are tools for eliminating Muda, and then U-line, inline, and unification, multi-process handling, and multi-skilled operations, A/B control, 2-point control, cell production line. We will discuss much more when you train Kaizen in detail to the higher level or to the second level. This is an highlight of Kaizen, so that it is highlight. Tools for eliminating Muda, here we discussed now. Anandan is an indicator informing team leaders and supervisors of the current workshop situation with color borders, flashlights, and automated announcements. So Andan is very important for Muda elimination. And types of Andan, calling Andan, used for requesting parts, and warning Andan used to inform occurrence of irregularities on the lines and also disruptions, interruptions. And the third one is progress Andan, used to identify the progress of operation on the lines with a short talk time. So these are the three types of Andan. U-line is like this, creating the layout like a U shape. Then the inputs will come in the front line and they will go one direction and they will out. It will minimize Muda of transportation and also Muda of movement. So avoid working. U-line is layout in which the inlet and outlet are positioned in the same direction to avoid walking back for a single operation. So one direction it will be. Inlining is a way to make the production line simple and effective by integrating the parts processing into the main line in the unit production. And unification, even if a flowing line cannot be formed, all the operations can be combined together in a place into an operator's work, so that unification is like this, as you've seen it in the image, unification of several processes into one. So the worker will do on the same position many operations. He will perform many operations. And the fifth one is multi-process handling and multi-skilled operators. Multi-process handling means that a single operator manages multiple machines and processes in product processing and assembling. This is the primary factor of constructing lines by a small number of operators. The next one is a multi-skilled worker can deal with several machines or processes as described above. The supervisor can make a flexible placement of operators when someone within the same team or section is absent. So a multi-skilled worker can work on multi-machines, on different machines at the same time by timing. The sixth one, A/B control, 2-point control. A/B control is a device automatic control function. It controls the machine movement when they came to start or stop working, depending upon the number of work pieces piled up between the proceeding process and the following process. So it is a control from A to B, 2-point control. Here is an example image. A to B control is used as a tool for time control to realize just in time. A to B control is controlling machines waiting each other. If one stops, another will stop, so that it will be visible whether it is a bottleneck or not. So the 7th point is cell production line. This is a production line that a single operator manages all the machines or assemble operations in unit production, like that of U-shape production. Cell production advantages: quality assurance can be ensured, the production output or efficiency of each operator can be clarified, operators can obtain a feeling of work achievement because they do autonomously. The customer should not pay any price for cost of wastes that we make, because the customer is, as we discussed from the beginning part, they need on time, they need quality, they need reasonable price, so that whether we costed much more for nothing value adding, they do not care about it, so that we should have to minimize our costs. Therefore, it is us who have to make our products better in quality, deliver them on time, and at the same time get more profit by eliminating Muda. So Muda, don't accept it. The second point is don't make it, and the third point is don't pass it. This is the process Muda elimination strategies. The 3 points. Don't accept it, do not accept receive from others as it is Muda, and don't make it. You yourself do not make it, and don't pass it. Do not pass for another person to process much more, so that Muda will be eliminated. Muda is unwanted for our life, unwanted for our company, unwanted for our home. So eliminate Muda all and everywhere. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you have suggestions and comments, leave it on my YouTube address. Thank you very much.